All adults in every U.S. state now, Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico, are now eligible for a Covid-19 vaccine, meeting the April 19th deadline that President Biden set 2 weeks ago. The United States is administering an average of 3.2 million vaccine doses a day, an increase from the 2.5 million a month before. So far, over 131 million people, or half of all Americans, have received at least one vaccine dose. And about 84.3 million people have been fully vaccinated in the United States. After a slow start, the pace of vaccinations in the country has risen considerably in recent months. President Biden, who initially said he wanted states to make all adults eligible for a vaccine by the 1st of May, moved the deadline up as the vaccination drive accelerated across America. Biden has also set a goal of administering 200 million doses by his 100th day in office. This expansion of eligibility comes even as medical officials investigate whether Johnson & Johnson's one-shot COVID-19 vaccine is linked to a rare blood clotting disorder. All 50 U.S. states suspended administration of this vaccine last week after federal health officials recommended a pause. Nina Maria Potts continues to be with us from Washington. Nina, a lot of people, half of American adult population has got one vaccine dose so far. What are the results that we are seeing from this massive vaccination drive?
Well, the vaccination drive in America, I think, speaks to a huge push and a huge success for the Biden administration. You rightly mentioned that the goal of delivering 200 million shots by President Biden's 100th day, which is in 10 days' time, looks very certain to be reached. It's probably worth mentioning that most states had already reached that goal of making all of their all Americans eligible by April 19th. They had already achieved that target. I think there is some cloud on the horizon, some cloud in the sky, which is that the vaccination rates themselves, there's a key question as to how many Americans are willing to be vaccinated, and that issue is dominated by partisan politics and vaccine hesitancy. There was a poll last week suggesting that 21% of Americans would avoid the vaccine if they could, that they were not planning to take it. That percentage is much higher among Republicans. 43% of Republicans are saying that they are not interested in taking the vaccine. That's a high percentage, too, for the U.S. military. 40% of the U.S. military saying that they don't want the vaccine, and high rates of vaccine hesitancy in other communities as well. Dr. Fauci and public health officials say that they find those statistics very disturbing, that it should be a political issue in the United States. But there is a sense here that despite this overwhelming success that has been driven very much by the Biden presidency in terms of the sheer numbers of vaccines, and this is despite the Johnson & Johnson pause, as you rightly mentioned, which public health officials are hoping that that pause will be reversed by Friday. But despite the vaccination drive, America seems to be hitting possibly something of a wall, right. And we are seeing a spike and a surge in case numbers by 8% in several states.
Nina Maria Potts, thank you so much for joining us from Washington with these details. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.